That chocolate bar you grab every afternoon, it could contain lead. That healthy dark chocolate you splurged on, cadmium might be hiding inside those Valentine's Day treats in your pantry. Test it, and the results are shocking. We're revealing which beloved chocolate brands are tainted with toxic metals, why scientists are raising the alarm, and what it means for every bite you've ever trusted. Walk into any American convenience store, and you'll see that familiar brown wrapper. Hershey's has been synonymous with chocolate in America for over a century. Your grandparents ate it. Your parents ate it. You've probably eaten hundreds of Hershey's bars in your lifetime. But here's what they never told you on those commercials. Hershey's special dark, mildly sweet chocolate tested at a shocking 265% above California's allowable lead levels. Let that sink in. Not just above the limit, but nearly 3 times higher. Consumer Reports conducted independent laboratory testing on 28 popular dark chocolate brands, and Hershey's products repeatedly appeared among the worst offenders. Their Lily's brand, which Hershey owns and markets as a healthier option with less sugar, also tested high for lead contamination. Think about it. Parents have been packing Hershey's products in school lunches for decades, believing they were giving their kids a simple treat. Instead, they were unknowingly exposing developing brains to a neurotoxin that the CDC says has no safe level for children. Did you know? Lead exposure in children is linked to lower IQ, learning disabilities, behavioral problems, and even seizures. The Flint water crisis made headlines for lead contamination, yet millions of Americans have been consuming lead through their favorite chocolate brands without a second thought. When confronted with these findings, Hershey released a carefully worded statement claiming they do not add cadmium or lead to their products and work with suppliers to minimize contamination. But here's the critical question. If other chocolate makers can produce bars with significantly lower heavy metal levels, why hasn't America's largest chocolate manufacturer made this a priority? The company faces multiple class action lawsuits from consumers who claim they were misled about product safety. One plaintiff stated in court documents that they consumed Hershey's dark chocolate daily, believing the marketing claims about it being a better-for-you option, only to discover they'd been ingesting harmful levels of toxic metals. This isn't just about one bad batch or a single product line. Multiple Hershey's varieties tested above safe thresholds, suggesting a systemic issue in their sourcing, processing, or quality control procedures. Trader Joe's built its reputation on offering high-quality products at reasonable prices. Their loyal customers, and there are millions, trust the brand to curate safe, thoughtful options. The Hawaiian shirt-wearing crew members, the quirky product names, the Fearless Flyer newsletter, it all creates an image of a company that cares, but their dark chocolate tells a different story. Trader Joe's dark chocolate, Lover's Chocolate 85% cacao bar exceeded California's safety limits for both lead and cadmium. This wasn't a marginal violation. This was a product that failed on multiple fronts. Their 72% cacao bar came in at 192% above the lead threshold. Here's what makes this particularly disturbing. Trader Joe's customers specifically seek out their products because they believe the company vets suppliers more carefully than mainstream grocery stores. People shopping at Trader Joe's are often more health conscious, more likely to read labels, more invested in making informed choices about what they put in their bodies. The company's response? Silence. When Consumer Reports and news outlets reached out for comment about the heavy metal findings, Trader Joe's didn't provide a statement, no explanation, no acknowledgement of the problem, no commitment to fix it. Class action lawsuits followed, with plaintiffs arguing they paid premium prices for Trader Joe's chocolate specifically because they trusted the brand's quality standards. Court documents reveal that consumers felt betrayed, having chosen Trader Joe's over cheaper alternatives precisely because they believed it was safer. Did you know? Cadmium accumulates in the kidneys and can cause severe kidney damage over time. It's also classified as a probable carcinogen by international health agencies. The European Union has strict limits on cadmium in chocolate, limits that some American brands routinely exceed. What's particularly frustrating is that affordable, safer options exist. If Trader Joe's truly wanted to protect their customers, they could blend high cadmium beans with lower cadmium sources, source from West African regions with naturally lower soil contamination, or implement better post-harvest drying procedures to reduce lead exposure. Other companies have done exactly this. Instead, their chocolate remains on shelves with no warning labels, no reformulation announcements, and no explanation to the customers who trusted them. Lindt positions itself as premium chocolate, the kind you give as a gift, the kind that comes in elegant packaging with words like excellence and expertly crafted with the finest ingredients printed on every bar. People pay more for Lindt precisely because of this perceived quality. But when Consumer Reports tested Lindt Excellence dark chocolate 70% cocoa, it found cadmium levels at 116% of California's maximum allowable dose, the Excellence dark chocolate 85%. Cocoa measured 166% above the lead threshold. The Swiss chocolatier has faced intense scrutiny, particularly after their legal defense strategy backfired spectacularly. When consumers filed a class action lawsuit, Lindt's lawyers argued that phrases like expertly crafted with the finest ingredients were just puffery, marketing exaggeration that no reasonable consumer should take literally. Let me translate that for you. Lindt's legal team essentially admitted in court that their quality claims are meaningless. Advertising speak. The judge didn't buy it and refused to dismiss the case. Did you know? The lawsuit revealed that Lindt had been informed about elevated heavy metal levels in their products as far back as 2014 by consumer advocacy groups. For nearly a decade, they continued selling products they knew contained concerning levels of toxic metals without disclosing this to consumers. This is particularly egregious because Lindt's whole brand identity revolves around Swiss quality and precision. Switzerland is famous for strict quality standards, meticulous attention to detail, and products you can trust. Lindt trades heavily on that reputation, charging premium prices while apparently failing to implement the very quality controls customers pay for 2 of Lindt's bars did make Consumer Reports' safer list, but they were sold under Ghirardelli, a company Lindt owns. This proves Lindt knows how to produce chocolate with lower heavy metal content. They simply choose not to do it for their flagship. Lindt-branded products, likely because the processes that reduce contamination would cut into profit margins. The contrast is stark and damning. The same corporation can produce safer chocolate when selling under one brand, but continues marketing contaminated products under another, more prestigious brand name. Before we continue with 4 more brands you need to know about, we need your help spreading this information. If this video is opening your eyes to what's really in the chocolate you've been eating, hit that like button so more people can discover the truth. Drop a comment telling us which brand shocked you most. Was it Hershey's, Trader Joe's, Lindt, or maybe you're bracing yourself for what's coming next? Subscribe to the channel because we're not done exposing food brands that put profits over your health. We've got 3 more videos coming this month about hidden dangers in everyday foods you probably have in your kitchen right now. Dove promises. You've seen them at checkout counters, office candy bowls, movie theaters. Those individually wrapped pieces with inspirational messages inside. Follow your dreams. You deserve this, have become part of American snack culture. But Dove's promises. Deeper. Dark chocolate, 70%. Cacao tested at 74% above allowable lead limits and 112% above cadmium limits. A single ounce exceeds safe thresholds for both toxic metals. Mars, Inky, the corporate giant behind Dove, manufactures billions of chocolate products annually. They have the resources, the expertise, and the technology to solve this problem. Yet their dark chocolate varieties continue showing up on lists of contaminated products. The lawsuits against Mars tell a troubling story. Consumers report eating Dove dark chocolate daily, sometimes multiple pieces, because the individual wrapping makes portion control easy and the products are marketed as an indulgent yet acceptable treat. Many specifically chose dark chocolate over milk chocolate because they'd heard about antioxidant benefits and health advantages. One plaintiff described experiencing unexplained health issues, persistent abdominal pain, fatigue, cognitive problems that doctors couldn't diagnose. Only after the Consumer Report study revealed heavy metal contamination did she connect her symptoms to years of daily Dove dark chocolate consumption. Did you know heavy metal poisoning symptoms can be vague and easily attributed to other causes? Headaches, memory problems, numbness, tingling sensations, abdominal discomfort. Many people experiencing these symptoms from long-term chocolate consumption never make the connection. What makes Dove's situation particularly frustrating is their corporate position. Mars has participated in industry-wide efforts to study heavy metal contamination. They've signed settlements acknowledging the problem. They've funded research into solutions. They know exactly what the issue is. Yet consumers opening a bag of Dove Promises today will find no warnings, no disclosure, no indication that the products inside contain metals known to cause kidney damage, neurological problems, and developmental issues in children. Godiva represents chocolate at its most luxurious. Gold boxes, ribbon bows, prices that make you pause before purchasing. When you give someone Godiva, you're signaling that they're worth the best. When you treat yourself to Godiva, it feels like a special indulgence. Godiva, signature, dark chocolate. 72%, cacao tested at 146% of the lead maximum allowable dose level. This isn't budget chocolate with questionable sourcing. This is a premium brand that charges premium prices specifically because consumers believe they're paying for superior quality and safety. The company's response to contamination findings was essentially, all of our products are safe and meet relevant regulations. But here's the problem. The United States doesn't have federal limits for lead and cadmium in most foods. The regulations Godiva claims to meet are either non-existent or far less protective than California standards, which are based on actual health risk assessments. It's a clever piece of misdirection. We meet regulations sounds reassuring until you realize there are no meaningful regulations to meet. It's like saying, we follow all the rules when there are no rules. Did you know? Belgium, where Godiva was founded, is part of the European Union, which actually does have strict cadmium limits for chocolate. The EU regulation sets a maximum of 800 micrograms per kilogram for dark chocolate with 50% or more cocoa solids. Yet Godiva products sold in America show no evidence of meeting stricter European standards. This reveals an ugly truth about global food companies. They'll meet whatever standards are legally required in each market, but they won't voluntarily adopt the safest practices across all their products. Your health matters less than your location. Godiva has the expertise to source cleaner cocoa beans, implement better processing techniques, and test finished products to ensure safety. Other premium brands have proven it's possible. Godiva simply chooses not to, presumably because the safer processes cost more, cutting into the substantial profit margins that luxury pricing provides. When you pay $40 for a box of Godiva chocolates, you're not getting $40 worth of safety. You're getting fancy packaging and brand prestige with the same contamination risks as cheaper alternatives. Theo chocolate occupies a special place in the conscious consumer's heart. Based in Seattle, they market themselves as organic, fair trade, and committed to ethical sourcing. Their factory tours emphasize transparency. Their packaging highlights certifications. Everything about the brand screams trustworthy. But Consumer Reports found that Theo's products were among those testing highest for both lead and cadmium. In fact, 2 Theo bars made the list of 5 chocolates that exceeded safe levels for both heavy metals. This is particularly significant because organic certification leads many consumers to assume a product is cleaner and safer. Research has actually found that organic dark chocolate sometimes contains higher levels of heavy metals than conventional chocolate. Why? Because organic farming prohibits certain treatments and soil amendments that might reduce heavy metal uptake. Theo's response to Consumer Reports was nothing. They didn't provide a statement, didn't offer an explanation, didn't commit to changes. For a company built on transparency and ethical practices, that silence speaks volumes. Did you know? The cacao plant naturally absorbs cadmium from volcanic soils, particularly in Central and South America, where much high-quality cacao is grown. Organic certification focuses on pesticides and chemicals, but doesn't address naturally occurring soil contaminants. Many consumers don't understand this crucial distinction. What frustrates informed consumers is that solutions exist. Chocolate makers can test soil before planting, choose cultivation sites with lower cadmium levels, blend beans from different regions, implement careful drying procedures that minimize lead contamination from dust and dirt, and test finished products to ensure safety. Theo makes a big deal about knowing their suppliers, visiting farms, maintaining relationships with growers. If they have this level of supply chain insight, they should be able to source cleaner cacao beans. The fact that they haven't suggests either lack of prioritization or unwillingness to pay the premium prices that safer beans might command. For conscious consumers who specifically seek out organic, fair trade options, Theo's contamination represents a particular betrayal. These customers are already paying more, already making an effort to support ethical practices. Learning that their careful choices still resulted in heavy metal exposure feels like a broken promise. Alter Eco represents everything modern chocolate consumers claim to want: organic ingredients, fair trade certification, sustainable packaging, and partnerships with small farming cooperatives. Their website discusses soil health, farmer livelihoods, and regenerative agriculture. They position themselves as chocolate done right. Yet their organic dark chocolate classic blackout 85% cacao appears in lawsuits alongside conventional brands, accused of containing dangerous levels of heavy metals. Consumer Reports testing included Alter Eco products, and the results weren't reassuring. Here's what makes the situation complex. Alter Eco's commitment to sourcing from specific regions and farming cooperatives might actually limit their ability to blend beans from areas with different contamination levels. When you promise beans from a particular origin, you can't easily mix in cleaner beans from elsewhere to reduce overall heavy metal content. This creates a dilemma for truly ethical brands. The very practices that make them socially responsible, long-term partnerships with specific farmers, single origin sourcing, transparency about where every bean comes from, can make it harder to produce safer products when those specific regions have natural soil contamination. But that doesn't excuse lack of disclosure. Alter Eco could label products with the caveat that cacao from volcanic soils naturally contains higher cadmium levels. They could rotate sourcing regions to minimize chronic exposure. They could invest in research to help their partner farms reduce contamination through soil amendments, plant selection, or processing improvements. Did you know? Some chocolate makers have successfully worked with farmers to implement practices that reduce heavy metal contamination without compromising organic or fair trade status. These include using younger cacao trees; older trees accumulate more cadmium, keeping beans off the ground during drying to minimize lead contamination, and testing soil before planting to choose lower cadmium fields. What's particularly disappointing about Alter Eco is that their target audience, educated consumers who read labels, research products, and care about supply chain ethics, are exactly the people most receptive to honest communication about this challenge. These customers would understand the complexity of the problem if explained clearly. Instead, the silence creates suspicion that the brand prioritizes image over integrity. If this video surprised you, share it, especially with anyone who still snacks on these chocolates every day. Hit like to help others learn the truth, and comment which brand shocked you most. Subscribe for more investigations into the hidden dangers in everyday foods, and check out the next video to see what else might be putting your health at risk. Stay sharp, stay informed, and always look past the wrapper.